Welcome back to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. I am Connor Williams, and we're back with quite an exciting video today. It is the announcement. We've got a signing video, and it is the announcement that we have signed Andros Townsend on a free transfer. Andros Townsend will join the club on a 2-year deal. The pictures have been put out by the club of him penning his 2-year deal. He's had his announcement video filmed, done, put up on Everton Twitter. But yeah, Andros Townsend. From what I could gather when I saw this on social media, this is a mixed one for a lot of the fans. But I personally quite like it. I think he's not going to start for us. I think the club have made that clear with their intentions in the window and who we're linked with. But he's going to be a squad player, and I think he adds to that more than what we already have. He certainly will contribute more, hopefully, than Bernard, Iwobi, vice versa. So, I have actually got a few stats here because I didn't want to come on here and, be poorly informed. So, according to last season, the 2021 season Premier League stats, Andros Townsend has played 2,259 minutes, 1 goal, 5 assists, and 40 chances created. Alex Iwobi and Bernard combined 1,993 minutes, 2 goals, 2 assists, 26 chances created. So already that's both players in together. He's performed better than, and I think he will only be used as a utility player off the bench, maybe to change the game a little bit later on. And his stats prove that he can do that, more so than what we've already got, and I think that's the most important thing. I don't think he'll be on the wages Bernard's on. He's one of our highest earners. For me, I'm warming to this. If he was our only winger that we were going to sign, I'd be a little bit more worried. And I'd probably say it was unambitious. But the club look like they're really pushing to sign, a Leon Bailey, a Dwight McNeil. Some Matthias Pereira's been linked as well. So he's obviously not going to start any games. But as a utility player, a squad player, bit of rotation, I don't think he's a bad option. I think we have worse options, and he's better than what we've got. He's also on a free transfer on a 2-year deal. It's not the end of the world. A 2-year deal is quite good. It means we're not tied to him for the next 4 years. And it was a free transfer. It's cost the club nothing in transfer fee, which means we can save that for something else. I also have some more stats here. This has come from Ryan Williams at Ryan Soccer AA on Twitter. He was looking at Townsend's numbers last season, was actually quite impressed. He said per Y-Scout, for 70 right winger, 750 minutes, Townsend is 6th in expected assists per 90 minutes, which is better than James Rodriguez. He's 12th in successive attacking actions per 90 minutes, 9th in deep completed crosses per 90 minutes, and does defend as he's 8th in defensive duels per 90 minutes. So breaking down those a little bit, I feel like for what we might see more from Benitez, I think he suits him as well. Obviously Benitez liked him at Newcastle, and they've obviously got a good relationship. I think the defensive duels is good. I don't think Alex Iwobi and Bernard are the best at defending. I think Richarlison is. I think Richarlison really does work his socks off to get back. But I think, as we've seen in the right-hand side last season, some of, James Rodriguez, when he played out on the right, didn't offer much support going backwards, which left Seamus Coleman, who is getting on a bit now, with a lot to deal with, especially when we play teams who their left wingers were really fast, Seamus Coleman was in a whole heap of trouble, and, sometimes he had poor games, sometimes he had good games, but Townsend will obviously drop back and offer support for Seamus Coleman, which is incredibly important. But also the crosses from deep is important as well. There were so many times last season that I watched us and I thought, just whip it in. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that should be our whole tactic, just, long ball, whipping it in. But Everton do generically before, under Moyes played wing-playing football with a lot of crosses, from the full-backs, from the wingers. And it did work. And obviously we've always had a bigger striker with a good aerial presence. And, that back in the Moyes era, Fellaini was the easiest one to aim for. And with Dominic Calvert-Lewin and how good he is in the air, it makes sense to have someone who can cross from deep as well. So not only is he going to be able to run the byline, he's not afraid of just whacking it in from deep, getting it on, it doesn't have to be DCL, but let's be honest, that's the head you'll aim for. Or Richarlison's head. And, just getting crosses in causes Miver. It doesn't even have to, as long as you get them in the box, it can cause Miver. The amount of times I've seen, somebody head the ball, there's a bit of a scuffle because they've not cleared it properly, and goals can come from all sorts like that. If you put the ball in the danger area, and these all don't have to be aerial, these can be low whipped in crosses which cause all sorts of mayhem at the feet of defenders. That's when you see bobbles of the ball and bang, a goal. So, looking at his stats, which when we first signed him, my initial thought was, oh, jeez, really? But looking at the stats now, and the fact that he's obviously not going to be our number one winger, he's not going to be our marquee winger. We are looking to, add depth to that and get a proper winger in, a bit younger, a bit more in their prime, a little bit faster. Leon Bailey's absolutely rapid. I can take Townsend as a utility player and a squad player, and I think he'll play very well. Crystal Palace fans I've seen on Twitter really do rate him, said he's a lovely fella, gave everything for the club. They're sad to see him go. And wish him all the best as well, so that's another good sign. Sounds like we're signing a player who works hard. There's no dramas with him. He just gets on with his job, which is another thing that Everton need. No squabbles, no qualms. Just a real good player who's going to put his boots on, pull his socks up, and really strap in for the team. And I think that's what the defensive duel shows as well. He's going to dig in deep for the team, and that's so important. So I mean, as a utility player, I certainly think if you're going to say, instead of Iwobi and Bernard, he's certainly an option, and it hopefully will free up wages, free up some transfer, if we can get some profit, transfer fees for those players if we do sell them, and we can buy some more players. Probably another winger. I think maybe we're looking at a centre back. We definitely need a right back. That whole right hand side could do with an upgrade. But Townsend has also done an interview at the club. He said, I think everyone knows what Everton is. It's a massive football club. It's very ambitious. A club which has been trying to get back where it belongs in Europe and beyond. And as an old cliche goes, it was a no-brainer. So I know obviously some of you out there might be a bit sceptical and be like, oh, well, it's the same old, that any signing says. But I mean, I believe him. I think we're a good club. We're an ambitious club. I think he's right in saying that we should be where we should try to be pushing for Europe, and hopefully this summer we can start making signings that would look like that, but he's happy to be here. That's the most important thing, is that he wants to be at the club. Apparently we weren't the only club in for him either. We were just the one he really wanted to come to, which again is a good thing. You don't want to be second best as a football club. You don't want him to come because someone else pulled out of a deal. The fact that he's gone, Everton are the best team that are coming in for me and I want to go there, I think that's a really positive thing as well. I really like it when players, when teams go after a player and they want to come. He did also tweet out to announce that he signed. He said, excited and honoured to start a new chapter at Everton. To the Evertonians, I can promise you I'll give my absolute all for the badge and leave everything out there to make sure this club achieves the success it deserves. This is a huge club and I understand that. NSNO with a blue heart. Again, very much resonating with what he said in his interview. He knows this is a good, he's saying it's a great club. He wants to work hard, leave everything out there on the pitch, which I've literally just said. He seems like that type of player who will leave everything out on the pitch. And he's resonating with that, and I think he is. I've seen it. Obviously this isn't a new player. He's not from abroad. We've all seen Andros Townsend play, and I will say this: I have always thought he works hard at Crystal Palace. He never, was never one of those where his head drops, he sulks, he walks off. He always did seem like he was putting in, 100%. Even if you could argue his, the quality might have maybe dipped in a couple of years from like 4 years ago when he was pushing for the England squad 5 years ago. But you've got to remember with this, he's going to be a squad rotation, off the bench sort of player. He's not going to start every game. He's not our main right winger. And I think we just need to remember that before, heads drop, skeptic, what are we doing? It's important to remember that. And I think for the role we're going to hire him in, I think he's a good, clever signing. And this is what we reported as well. His stats are clearly good, which obviously I didn't know and a couple of other people didn't know. But this was what we were told with Benitez and Brands is that they were going for a Moneyball approach, where statistics, they're looking at players who might not be, the highest, biggest earner, biggest transfer fees. They're going to look for unearthed gems, cheaper options who are performing and overperforming in certain areas. Which, by the way, if you've not seen Moneyball, you don't know what I'm on about, go check out the film. Fantastic film. You don't have to like baseball. I'm not a massive baseball fan, but you can see where it could be taken over in football. Brentford and Lille have done it in the last couple of years, and you've seen the success from them. Because even if you don't, win the league like Lille did, you can sell your players on for a good profit. That means more money into the club, and then you can spend a little bit bigger. To an extent, Liverpool do it as well. And I just think for what the club is aiming for with that approach, Townsend does click the boxes of he statistically looks good, he works hard, and I think that is the type of players Benitez wants at the club, where more than anything is hard workers. So for me, I don't mind Andros Townsend. I've warmed to it a lot more than when I first saw we were linked with him. I think as a squad off the bench, he brings a lot of experience. He brings a lot of quality, and he's obviously got the stats in the right places for it. So for me, I think it's good business. It's on a free. That's what you got to remember as well. We've not paid Palace for him. It's on a free. If I had to rate it out of 10, it'd probably be, like a 6. I wouldn't go as far as a 7, but it's 6. It's just, not slap bang average. There is some positive there, but it's nothing that I'm going to get overly excited about. But I'd give him a 6. I think he's going to have an okay couple of seasons for us. I think he's going to give the best to the club, and I think once we see him play and we see him putting in that hard work that he said he's going to, I think fans will like him even more. And you got to remember, he still is, he's not a dusted player. He's still got a lot of quality. His crossing is very good. He scored that wonder goal a couple of seasons back, that absolute rocket. But obviously not judging him on one goal. He does seem like a really great player. And like I said, whenever I watched Palace, I was always impressed with his work ethic. So hopefully all the best for him. And get behind the players, get behind him, support him. Hopefully he can do great things with us, and hopefully he's the first of many. Damari, Gray and Begovic are also linked to and meant to be very close to being done. And then we've got the excitement of maybe Dumfries coming in next week, hopefully. And then we've got the excitement of the fact we're after a new winger. Hopefully this is the start of a train of transfers now for us. But that's all I've got time for today on the Toffee Blues. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, comment down below what you think about Townsend. Do you think, bearing in mind the stats, the fact we didn't have to pay a transfer fee, do you think it could be quite a useful player? Do you think it's quite astute by, Everton to go out and get him on a free when his stats look better than what we already have? Or are you, against it, absolutely washed up? Or let us know either way. I always read your comments. It's always interesting to get a wider broadening of it. I will say this, though, we have to get behind all the players, let's support him. Let's not write him off before he's even kicked the ball for us. And don't forget, you can follow the Toffee Blues on Twitter. Their link will be in the description down below. They're breaking all the news as it comes. If you want to stay in the loop, you should be following. And you can follow me if you want. That'll be down there below. But most importantly, guys, stay safe. And let's hope this is the start of, a couple of good signings. And we can push on this season to do some good things.